Intermediate Algebra for Statistics, Section 2.6, Exponents and the Order of Operations. Lesson objective: perform computations and evaluate expressions using the order of operations. Lesson objective number 1. We'll begin with the definition of exponents. For any counting number n, x raised to the n power means that there are n factors of x. We refer to x to the nth as the power, the nth power x, or x raised to the nth power. We call x the base and n the exponent. So in this example here we have a base of 2. The exponent is 5, and that means we multiply the base 5 times. There are 5 factors of 2. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 32. 2 powers of x have specific names. We refer to x to the second power as the square of x, or x squared. We refer to x to the third power as the cube of x, or x cubed. Now to clarify a common mistake involving negative numbers and exponents. For negative a to the nth power, we compute a to the nth before finding the opposite. For negative 3 to the fourth power, the base is 3, not negative 3. If we want the base of negative 3, we enclose the negative 3 in parentheses. Let's look at an example. In this case, 3 is our base. We raise that to the fourth power, and then we multiply it by negative 1. Now if we want the base to be negative 3, we put it inside parentheses, and that's what gets multiplied 4 times. And a negative times a negative is a positive, times another negative is negative, times another negative becomes positive. So the answer is a positive 81. Using the graphing calculator, for our first example, we take the negative sign, 3, we hit the caret key for exponent, 4, and then we hit enter. This is the display. If we want negative 3 as the base, we have to use parentheses. So we take parentheses, the negative sign, 3, close the parentheses, hit the caret key, then a 4, then enter, and we see the output is 81. Example 1, we have 5 to the fourth. 5 to the fourth is equal to 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, which is 625. Number 2, negative 3 squared. The base is positive 3. We square it, which has 2 factors, and then we carry along the negative sign. So the answer to this is negative 9. Now number 3 is negative 3 quantity squared, which means the base is negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 3. Negative times negative is positive. And number 4, 4/5 to the third power, the base is 4/5. So we multiply 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. So here's the order of operations. The first, you do anything in parentheses or grouping symbols. Now the grouping symbols can be parentheses, they can be brackets, they can even be fraction lines or square root symbols. And you always start with the innermost group. Then you perform any exponents. Then multiplication or division as you go from left to right. So whichever one is found in the problem first, from left to right, that's what you do. Just like when you read a sentence from left to right. Number 4, perform addition or subtraction from left to right. Now this is something that helps many students remember the order of operation. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. P is for the grouping symbols or parentheses. E is for exponents. M and a D is multiply and divide. And A and S is for addition, subtraction. Now we got to remember with these two, do whatever comes first from from working left to right. Example 2. Number 1, we have 9 minus 8 divided by 4. So the first thing that we would do is division. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So we're going to take 9 minus 2, which is 7. Number 2, first thing we're going to do here is parentheses. 6 minus 4 is 2. We have division, addition, multiplication. So going from left to right, division would come next. So 10 divided by 5 is 2. We have addition, multiplication. We do multiplication next. We get 10. And then finally we add, and the answer is 12. There is a connection between the order of operations and the strength of the operations. We'll explore the strengths of exponents, multiplication, and addition using a pair of tens. So if we take 10 and raise it to the 10 power, that is going to be a lot larger than 10 times 10, and 10 times 10 is larger than 10 plus 10. So this is the reason why we do addition last, because it's the weakest operation. This is the reason why we do exponents before we do multiplication. So the most powerful operation is exponents. The next would be multiplication, division. The weakest is addition and subtraction. So after we perform the operation in parentheses, the order of operation goes from the most powerful operation to the next most powerful operations, and then to the weakest operations. Example 3. Number 1, the first thing that we want to do is exponents. There are no parentheses. So 2 to the third power is 8, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Next we want to multiply, and then finally we add. 31. For number 2, we have parentheses here. So 2 minus 6 is negative 4. Our next step is to do exponents. So negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4 is negative 64. So we have addition, subtraction, division. Division comes next. 8 divided by negative 2 is a negative 4. So the next thing we do, we can simplify. If I'm subtracting a negative number, that becomes addition. And if I am adding a negative number, that's the same thing as subtraction. So now going from left to right, we would subtract first, then add. 7 minus 64 is negative 57. Then we add 4, and we have a negative 53. Now we can use the TI 83 or 84 calculator to compute problems involving the order of operation, and we can also do those involving fractions. So this is negative 3/8 divided by the quantity 1/4 plus 2/3. So we would have to add these two first, and then take negative 3/8 and divide it by this quantity. Now if we're using the calculator to do this, we would have to type in the negative 3/8, then divide, and we would have to include parentheses here, and we get negative 0.4090909. Now there is a feature on the calculator that will allow us to take an answer and change it to fraction form. You hit your math key, and then the very first one. This means to take the answer and change it to a fraction. So you hit enter, and it will take your answer and change it to a fraction, and we have negative 9 divided by 22. When using the calculator, we have to be very careful on how we enter the values in. In this case, we have 10 plus 6 divided by 2. So order of operations, we would have to add these two before we can divide by 2. So this would be 16 divided by 2, which is 8. But if in the calculator we simply type 10 plus 6 divided by 2, we're going to get 13. Why is that? is because the calculator is going to take the 6 and divide it by the 2 first, and then it's going to add that number to 10. So whenever we have a division bar here, we need to include parentheses. So if we take parentheses 10 plus 6, close parentheses, and divide that by 2, we get the correct result, 8. Thanks for watching.